All right, let's cut through all the noise in the financial news cycle. We're going to see what's really moving the markets. And, your money. So, what's really going on behind all those big business headlines? To get to the bottom of it, you got to start with the overall mood of the market. And right now, that mood can pretty much be summed up in one word. And that word is anticipation. It feels like the entire market is just holding its breath. Stocks are slipping a bit, yeah, but it's not because of some big crisis. No, it's because all eyes, and I mean all eyes, are on the upcoming earnings results from the tech giant NVIDIA. It's a perfect example of how the performance of just one company can set the tone for everybody else. But that feeling in the market, that's not the whole story, not by a long shot. If you dig just a little bit deeper, you'll see a couple of massive deals making headlines, and these deals reveal a fundamental shift in who really holds the power in our economy. Okay, check this out. On one side, you have something that honestly would have sounded crazy just a few years back, the US government actually buying a direct stake in Intel. And on the other side, a much more classic corporate power play, a beverage behemoth swallowing a competitor to create an absolute giant in the coffee world. They seem like totally different stories, but they both share one crucial element: massive, massive scale. So how big are we talking here? Well, how about $18 billion? That's the price tag Keurig Dr. Pepper is slapping down for JD Peet's. I mean, think about that for a second. That's a deal so huge it actually spooked investors and sent Keurig's own stock down 8% right after the news broke. And while that Keurig deal is reshaping an industry, that other deal, the Intel one, that could be reshaping the role of government itself. This quote from former President Trump really says it all. It suggests this kind of investment isn't just a one-time thing. This could be the start of a whole new era where that line between the public and private sectors gets really, really blurry, especially for industries that are seen as strategically important. Okay, so let's zoom out a bit, because that government deal with Intel, it's really just one piece of a much, much bigger story. Right now, it feels like the entire market revolves around one thing: the unstoppable engine of tech. And yeah, you guessed it, at the very heart of that tech engine is NVIDIA. The whole AI boom has just been fueling this incredible growth for 2 years straight. And now Wall Street's expectations are through the roof. So that nervousness we talked about at the beginning, it all boils down to one question: can NVIDIA possibly keep accelerating at this unbelievable pace? But it's not just about NVIDIA, of course. You've got analysts keeping a close eye on heavyweights like Apple and Netflix. Meanwhile, in the AI world, you've got Elon Musk's xAI making some big strategic moves in its high-stakes fight with OpenAI. I mean, everywhere you look, the ground is shifting under our feet. All right, so we've got these huge government power plays. We've got tech giants basically calling the shots on the market's mood. It's easy to look at all this and think it's just some high-level game for billionaires and politicians, right? But how does any of it actually connect back to us, to our daily lives? Well, that connection starts right where a lot of us spend our time: the office. We've all heard about quiet quitting, right? Just doing the bare minimum. But now, something a little more, dangerous is popping up: quiet cracking. This is when managers, feeling all that pressure from the top, quietly start overloading their best employees until they just break. You can draw a direct line from that high-pressure economy we've been talking about straight to this kind of toxic workplace dynamic. And this stuff doesn't stop at the office door. It follows us home to our personal finances. For instance, experts are starting to talk about retirement accounts, like a Roth IRA versus a Roth 401k, in a totally new way. It's not just about the numbers anymore. It's about this fundamental choice: power versus freedom. How much control are you willing to give up for how much flexibility you need? It's a fascinating way to look at it. And that idea of freedom connects to something even bigger: how we're all starting to think about what wealth even means. I mean, look at this data. It's pretty fascinating. Only 23% of people think you need a six-figure salary to be rich. For the huge majority, this suggests wealth is being completely redefined. Maybe it's less about a giant paycheck and more about that freedom we just mentioned, financial security and having a life outside of work. Okay, let's pull it all together. We've talked about a nervous market, these massive corporate deals, the tech sector running the show, and how it all trickles down to our jobs and our money. So what's the big picture here? What happens when we connect all these different dots? Well, when you do connect those dots, a few key things really stand out. First, you've got a market that is just gripped by anxiety over what's next for big tech. Second, we're seeing this massive power shift between corporations and the government. And finally, you can draw a straight line from those giant economic forces right down to our personal decisions about work, money, and even how we define what success looks like. And all of this really leaves us with one big critical question to think about. As all these lines between government, big business, and our own personal lives just keep getting blurrier, you have to wonder. The only thing that's certain is that the next major shift could come from anywhere, and you can bet it's going to affect all of us.